social learning theory established by Albert Bandura combines the ideas of both the cognitive learning theory as well as the behavioral learning theory. This theory explores the idea that people can learn new behaviors, values, and attitudes by observing others. In an article by Chavez, the cultural context in which adolescents are exposed to also plays a tremendous role in the behaviors that they portray. Chavez states that cultural context refers to the environmental and cultural influences, but recognizes that society, community, as well as cultural heritage, values, beliefs, thinking, and traditions affect individuals and families as well. The role models that children are exposed to impact their behaviors greatly. Leading with a positive example provides children with opportunity to reenact ethical behaviors rather than unethical ones. With the wrong influences and role models, development in social curriculum is affected and children begin to act out in ways that they have previously observed. As explained by the social learning theory, modeling and imitation of one's actions may provide evidence that another has learned new behaviors. In the following video clip, we will see an example of imitation being portrayed as a child follows what his father had done.
Hey, SpaghettiOs! You like SpaghettiOs? Yeah? Rented cans at half price. Microsoft went down 3 points. We gotta save some money. Here, give it a shot.
Bandura's interest in the idea that adult role models influence the behavior of children led to a study in 1961 using Bobo dolls. For this study, children were used and they were placed into a room with a Bobo doll. Along with the child in this room was an adult or someone in on the experiment. They knew what was going to happen and what they were trying to persuade the children to do. Along with the adult were some toys. In one condition, the adult beat the Bobo doll up and verbally abused it. In another room, the adult just played with the toys and ignored the doll entirely. As a result of this study, it was evident that observational learning had taken place. The children that were in the rooms with adults who had verbally and physically abused the Bobo doll went back to the room with the doll and did the same to it. The children that were in the room with the adults that did not verbally or physically abuse the doll, though, went back to the room that they were in and just played with the toys. So the results of this study did show that role models have a major influence on the behaviors of children. The first of the 4 essential principles is attention. Without attention, students cannot learn. If they are not focused on the task, then they will not be able to take in new information. One way that we can keep students' attention is to introduce them to something that is interesting to them and fits their needs and interests. Social contexts also help to reinforce these interests. When students are engaged with other students or other adults who portray the same interests as them, they are going to be more willing to pay attention to the subject. The second principle essential to the social learning theory is retention. Retention refers to the idea that we learn by internalizing information in our memories. This information can be later looked back into to react to different situations appropriately. For example, if a student is using retention, then in the classroom something may occur and they may remember a time in which a similar situation happened at home. At that time, they may reenact how they acted towards their parents when that similar situation occurred. And whether it be a positive reaction or a negative reaction, it doesn't matter when we're talking about retention because they're just acting in ways that they remember worked out best for them in that particular situation. Reproduction is the third essential principle in the social learning theory. Through reproduction, we reproduce previously learned information, meaning information that we've studied or information that we've practiced. In relation to school and sports, this information may be from lessons learned in the classroom. Students may practice and study this content at home and regurgitate it at school. The final principle of the social learning theory is motivation. Motivation is essential for any tasks to be completed in life, and especially in the classroom. Often motivation originates because of our observations of others. For example, in the classroom, especially with young children, students often watch others and see the rewards that they are earning. This often motivates them to engage in those same actions so that they can get those rewards as well. This also works though when we are addressing students with negative behaviors. No student wants to get in trouble with the teacher. Therefore, they start to watch those children that are getting the rewards and turn their behaviors around so that they no longer are getting in trouble for the negatives. Joseph's Cultures of Curriculum made a clear connection to the social learning theory in Chapter 5. This chapter was titled Constructing Understanding. Throughout this chapter, it talked about creating student-led experiences for the children in our classroom and letting students work together to share ideas and provide further learning opportunities. So in this culture of curriculum, Constructing Understanding, it was characterized by three themes. These three themes consisted of centrality of the learner. This theme in specific revolved around the idea that students' lives consist of different things, and each student experiences different opportunities and difficulties in their lives. And these different situations are then brought into the classroom, and students are able to share these experiences with others. The next theme is complexity. This theme is in which teachers employ problem-based learning as a way for students to participate in the kind of complex inquiry that categorizes most human endeavors outside the classroom. So, complexity is bringing the ideas from outside the classroom back into the classroom and allowing students to share their experiences from home and the community again with their peers. The final theme is engagement, and this theme revolves around the idea that students begin units of study by experiencing the content they are studying rather than having abstract explanations provided to them ahead of time. So real-world experiences, virtual tours, field trips would all coincide with this final theme of engagement to provide opportunities for students to learn from other experiences and other professionals rather than the teacher themselves and a verbal explanation. In 1963, Piaget argued that children refine their existing notions of personal ethics as well as their use of logic when during social interaction, they view the ideas of others in critical comparison with their own. This is clear that social interactions have a huge impact on the development of children inside the classroom and outside of the classroom in a behavioral aspect as well as a social aspect. In conclusion, the social learning theory has tremendous effects on the social and behavioral learnings that children take place in at school and have adopted from the home setting. Students learn behaviors from role models, whether they be positive or negative, and they replay these behaviors in different types of settings. Throughout these behaviors, students may receive a series of rewards or punishments. They learn from these rewards and punishments and choose the behaviors next time that meet the needs of what they would like to receive.